foremost, I think me as a black man, I fought myself for not being as educated on what it took for us to vote in the first place. But we here now. I do think when you go to the youth and you try to push the just to push the agenda of voting, when now they're angry, and I must say thank God for the coronavirus. I mean, the bad it done, but the great it done, because it actually slowed the youth down so they can actually see what's going on in their world. They're so used to fashion, sports, whatever. And it slowed everything down. And for the first time, in a long time, they actually got a chance to see what we've been going through as, just as a whole, just being black in America. And I think right now, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd was the two turning points for this generation. I don't think they ever seen it on camera before, on tape, and being able to see what happens when the world is slowed down and you got no choice but to discuss these issues. So I think really right now, you're seeing a revolution. You're seeing young people out there marching. You're seeing young people protesting. They're getting the attention. And the only thing that concerns me is I just really want them to have a strong force on both fronts of this fight, the battle and the war, meaning I want to see them march, protest, whatever they do, and I also want to see them at the voting polls and doing what they got to do there, because we got to show up in numbers. We can't just go out here and make all this fuss and burn things down, and then when it's time to vote, we just let the same people get back in office because we feel like our vote doesn't count. Even though it's tricky, because like I said, I left myself and I couldn't believe it. Like, if you didn't know, then if you don't research who you're actually going to vote for when you get there, and when they say write it in, you won't know. You end up voting for somebody just because their name is there. You don't know your candidate because it's not set up that way. So I can see their frustration. It's almost like you telling them, okay, you guys went and tore this up. You got all this attention. Now you got to go vote. And that never works for them. And they see the same people get in the office. They see the same things happening. And I had explained that to my son. I'm just like, but you guys are strong. You guys are young. You guys got the energy to go out here and march and protest every day. But when that's over and you get tired, we got to steal another fight to fight. And we got to go fight them at the voting polls as well. And we got to continue to fight them with you guys' social medias and just your resources, the things that you guys have, the same things that you go out here and sell your merchandise with. You need to be pushing the movement. You need to be pushing the awareness, because that's what it's about. You guys.
No, I'm sorry to cut you off, but you raised a very interesting point. So I know a lot of so I'm 33. I know a lot of folks my age demographic, like we grew up listening to you, and a lot of the younger folks also, like we love listening to you. But then a lot of the younger artists now, some people call it mumble rap or whatever, a lot of the young thugs, the Futures, whomever. How do we get those guys, because you're an OG, how do we get the rest of the OGs like yourself in the game to talk to them about not only putting this in their music and not saying this is only for Cole or this is only for Kendrick? How do we get them to get away from lean and also talk about the voting and what's really going on in the street?
I think we all got to be on the front. I mean, if you got Atlanta Falcons fans that can go, do these tailgate parties for a football team, why y'all ain't at the voting polls this way? Why? I mean, you got to stand. In my position, and I can't speak for nobody else. When the streets appointed me, I wouldn't even be here. Like I was never like the rapper criteria. I got put in the position because I understand who I was and I was self-aware. But I also understood that it was a leadership position and not just me being famous. And so I always took it up on that way. But now this is our problem. It's like we all have to get on the same. I'm on the phone with Jay-Z. I'm on the phone with LeBron James. I'm on the phone with Kevin Hart. I'm on the phone with Mike Epps. Like, we all in this together. We all black men. Yeah. And if we don't do something about this, it ain't gonna be nothing for us to get out here and get money with, because it's gonna be back the way it was. And we have to build the black dollar. It all starts with it starts economically. Like, the reason why they don't do Jewish people like that and Asian people, and no disrespect, is because they build their communities and they build their selves, so they're in high ranking positions. So if you do something to one of them, they can block you in Hollywood. They can block you in politics. They can block you. What do we have? What do we own? What is our worth? What is our value? And where can we block people at? And that's what we don't have. So we got to put everything we got together, whether it's entertainment, sports, politics, and we all got to be on the same page and push the same message, because that's our only value. Back in the days as slaves, the only value we had was, to pick cotton and clean somebody's house, but we was on the money. We was the actual currency. Now we don't have that worth, so we have to build our worth so we have some say-so. You know what I mean?
So,
and that's going to take all us being together. I mean, you see it.
So same page.
So go ahead, Lee.
I'm sorry about that, Melina. So same page, same message. That's why the first question I asked you, Jeez, was what were they asking for out there in Atlanta? Because we can ask for, again, justice for George Floyd, but how do we prevent another George Floyd going further?
Right. You have an excellent point, my brother. This is what I think, and I said this to myself. I said, and I've been saying, let's not lose the message on my socials, and I'm not saying that for a hashtag or just some corny line. I'm saying that if I was to go to every protest around the world, 50 states, and go, hey, why are you here? What is your purpose? What do you want out of this? Everybody's gonna have a different answer. And that's what scares me the most, because it's like we're not on the same page. I mean, if you're gonna fight, let's fight together. You know what I'm saying? Like let's have an agenda. Let's be able to scale it and understand when we're making progress. But if we all showing up and we just burning things down and tearing things up and we don't have a plan, I mean, how long are we gonna be able to keep that up? You're talking about going against the US government. You know, they got money. Like you see how the nurses didn't have any, masks for Corona, but then when the police showed up, they look like RoboCops.
Right.
So I do want to lift up, I think that's a great point, that we need to be all on the same page. And one of the things that I'm encouraged by as somebody who is in the streets every day, is that we're starting to see two messages kind of predominate. One is prosecute killer cops, right? And Lee, I'd love for you to talk about what that means, right? Why we're pushing for prosecution and accountability for police. But two, we're seeing defund the police, which to me, is something that we've been talking about in Black Lives Matter. We've been talking about defunding police and moving those resources into the community for the last 7 years. But now you're hearing almost every city across the country, someone is saying, or a group of people are saying, or there's signs in the streets that say defund the police. So I'd love to hear you kind of respond to that I feel like one of the things that's different about this moment is the point that you're making, Jeezy, that we have to be on the same page. And I feel like that's starting to materialize. Do you see that starting to happen?
Now, I don't know if you're starting with me because you asked a question to me.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'd like you, Lee, to come back and talk about this whole idea of prosecution. But I just want Jeezy to pick up on that last point that he made first about can we all get on the same page? It seems like we're starting to.
I think that I think the information has to be clear. When I hear defund the police, I had to go do my own research, understand what it really means, because when you hear that, you think, well, we don't need police anymore. Like, so I just think it's so much information coming at one time. We're gonna just have to have one streamline of what we're doing as a community, what we're doing as a people, so that we all understand, because it's so many, it's defund the police, it's Black Lives Matter, and no disrespect to anybody's movement, but it's just like, what can I stand behind, and I understand what I'm standing for, and I understand what I'm fighting for.